Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the finest on of War Soulstorm this side of East Yorkshire. And today we've got a 3 versus 3 on testing grounds. Playing as the Necrons, we've got Tiger Shark, we've got Ritvi Kanani, and we've got El Sueño. Whereas, playing as the Space Marines, we've got me, we have got Salad Ohm, and we have got Chew Buckler. So look at this, it's a faction war. And I do believe it is the first faction war in Definitive Edition so far on the channel. So very exciting stuff. So the Sons of the Emperor up against the Servants of the Silent King. Who will win today? Who knows? Well, I mean, I might know. I mean, I did play this game, but maybe who... You know, I'll keep an air of mystery going about this with my superb acting skills. But yes, we've got Necrons, and this is quite a good map for them, actually. There's plenty of space in between them. Well, I mean, there's not much space, but there's lots of negative cover, which the Space Marines will struggle with because they are affected by negative cover, whereas Necrons don't really care about it, so they can fight around here all totally fine and get a slight advantage over the Space Marines. So Space Marines want a fairly decent fight, maybe moving around over here and taking advantage of the heavy cover in the centre of the map is more to their liking. So we shall see what happens. And I do quite like as well how Chew Buckler has gone for a very fancy pre-heresy weldy skin. Nice white and blue of the old Sons of Angron, or whatever his face is. Speaking of cool colour schemes, if you want a cool colour scheme like a pre-heresy faction, have a look at all player support on the bottom right hand side. Professional printing, anything you want or need. Any colour scheme imaginable, so long as it's colours that exist. The boys and girls over there are able to suit your needs. Links in the description as always, and thank you for sponsoring the channel. So yeah, we've got a couple of ghost turrets coming up from El Sueño. I do believe we've also got, we've got Ritvi Kanani bringing forth one as well. A really good tactic to do if you want to save money on your ghost turrets is build it up, and when it gets just about that a bit of health, stop building it, and then if you need it, and enemies start, fighting it, you could then finish building it, and then if you don't end up needing it, just stop building it and, delete it. And you get all your money back. Little trick of the trade going on there. Scrimping and scraping. Fiscally responsible Necrons, that's what we want to see. And we've got some beautiful blue Necrons from El Sueño chasing away at my scout squad. I've killed one man, one poor soul, sent back to the sin bin. Whereas over here, we've got some Space Marines going toe-to-toe with the Tiger Shark's Necron Lord. And one advantage that the Necrons will have is being able to make use of 3 separate Necron Lords. Now they can either go for the meta with the standard solar pulse, etc., etc., upgrades for them, or maybe one could go for the meta, and a couple can start experimenting and doing a couple of other different bits and bobs. Maybe they can go for the scary scream ability that makes everyone run away from them. Maybe they can go for the chrono trigger that slows everyone down. The sky's the limit, really, for these guys. With their ability to teleport flayed ones around the map, will also do them good stead if they want to put a lot of pressure onto their opponents. Being a bit bamboozled by the Necrons, we now have a Force Commander joining the ranks of these Space Marines over here, whereas we've got some Necrons coming over towards the World Eaters. Necron Lord looking to see if he can do in the Servitor a defensive heavy bolter, while Chew Buckler attempts to get the remains of his Fang Force. Is also going to get a listing post upgrade as well to help with the defences. We've also got some Space Marines from Solidum putting pressure on El Sueño's base as well. So fighting on a couple of different fronts at the moment. Necron Lord trying to kill all the Servitors, but he's got 3 Servitors. It'll be quite hard to get those down, but almost killing that heavy bolter turret. But with all these extra fiery bits, probably no good for them to stick around for any length of time unnecessarily. Necron Warriors now moving into quite short-range combat. You can, in fact, before you get your disruption field upgrade, you can put these guys into close combat stance, do more damage in close combat than they do at ranged in the early game, and moving and firing, we've got quite a good accuracy rate while on the move as well, so sticking them all into close combat stance isn't a terrible thing when you think about it. I've got 2 Force Commanders, got Saldom on the front lines, keeping these guys at bay while we try and ignore this Necron Lord over here. We've both gone for quite a yellow colour scheme, so it's quite hard to differentiate Who Space Marines, who Plasmas. We're all the same side here. So all friends at the end of the day. That is a shed load of Necrons. Causing some issues for us. Pressuring on as they go. Got some scouts as well. Adding to the firepower. And Necrons, yeah, they're getting right up in our face, but not quite engaging in close combat. We're able to make use of this heavy cover, so we're actually getting the benefit from this. There we go. Slapping in close combat. Oh no, never mind. They're going to teleport back home. The cowards that they are. They can't stand up against the might of the Emperor's chosen in such a manner. Yeah, we've got the mass of troops at the moment. So that is that. Down over here, we've got a Ray from Tiger Shark slinking past the front lines, but then dying. He might pick himself back up there. You never know. Is he? No, he's dead. He's proper dead. A lot of the Necron units will require having friends next to them to come back to life, but sometimes Wraiths can go about their own wicked and foul business and fix themselves back up. We do see an obelisk down here, so we will start to put pressure down over onto the middle bit. And the Necrons licking their wounds, whereas Salad is moving. I keep on wanting to call him Salad Fingers. He's not called Salad Fingers. That's a completely different setting. Although it wouldn't surprise me if the planet that Salad Fingers was on, or is on, I mean, he's still alive. There was a recent episode that dropped not too long ago. Maybe within a month of this episode of Dawn of War going live. I haven't watched it. I've been saving it for a rainy day. With uploads like that, they only happen once every couple of years. Gonna wait for a special time to watch them. And I forgot the point I was gonna make with Salad Fingers, so just know that I was gonna say something, but I've forgotten what it is. But I've tried. There's the plasma guns for me. Always good against heavy infantry. And Ritfi Kanani has now got the disruption field upgrade for the Necron warriors, but has got the mass to get on past. So those warriors will fall back. But we do have quite a large amount of Necrons over here, keeping the salad back in the bowl. Let's got those flayed ones having a little sit around and minding their own business, which you kind of got to respect, really. Sometimes just going to sleep. Now, none of the Necrons have already slept for quite some time, but can never have enough sleep, in my opinion. Volley of missile launchers from the Salad Marines. All the flayed ones go down. And that's a prime set of weapons to take on the plasma generators, and the Ghost turret will be repaired slightly. That is a lot of Necron warriors there. That is a lot of Necron warriors. And for us to put pressure on these buildings, we can't sit back in the heavy cover. Here comes Necron Lord. There goes the Solar Pulse. And we're just going to stand there blind for a little moment while these Necrons just sally forth from their base. But not selling too forth. Selling a little. Down here, the World Eaters are making good progress, although the Ghost turret, I do believe this obelisk has also been upgraded on account of the glowy green nonsense. Look at him go. Get back on top of yourself. You fix yourself. You've got no friends, so you're dead. Which just goes to show, really, that the real power of the Necrons here are indeed the friends they make along the way. Go around killing some stuff. One plasma generator down. Here is a destroyer. Make his way on in. Oh no, the old cheeky razzle dazzle. We think that the Necrons are falling back, but actually they are not falling back. They focus fire down. One squad of Space Marines almost get him down as well. This destroyer having a little bit of a love tap with this heavy bolter marine, and with this sudden change in aggression, we're going to start to fall back. My chaplain is turning up a little bit late for the party. He's there. We also have this destroyer from Tiger Shark circumventing through the World Eaters, and naturally they're going to charge headlong after him, as is only good and proper. You got to roleplay the faction you're playing as, don't you? And I imagine with Salad's base not really expecting any kind of aggression being spawned betwixt his allies. I'm going to suffer a little bit at the hands of this destroyer. Servitor's got nowhere to hide. So they will one by one get shot down. in a much saddening manner. There we go. They've ran 2 meters. They're a bit tired now. Oh, no, no. The destroyer's respecting their wishes. So, okay, if you've ran a bit, we'll let you live for now. So we're just hanging out outside the base for the moment.
3 minutes until
3 minutes to take an old victory. There are grand total of 1, 2, and 3 strategic points. Well, critical location victory countdown places on the map. So the Necrons will have to decap one of them. As this destroyer is just left to, I mean, he's not killing anything anytime soon. Take him a while. He will eventually kill something, but there we go. Now we've got a triple helping of Necron warriors moving forward. Here is the battle wagon. But just as we spawn the boys outside the Rhino, Necron Lord gives us the bad stuff. So we'll go around the side. They'll ignore him, but even more Necron warriors are making themselves known and felt on the battlefield. Absolutely phenomenal use of the Necron Lord by Elsewhere here. Making sure that he's always jumping around and doing what he can. Vinky now coming over. And about where we move this battle bus, there just seems to be an unending amount of Necron warriors. Always ready to confuzzle us in our engagement, so we'll barrel away as best we can. Now got a massing of Necron warriors from Tiger Shark. Just 2 squads and a squad of flayed ones, not being deep stricken in, but just walking on over. But that is a lot of Space Marines. I don't think that's going to be enough. Even the Scouts of Chewbuckler are being upgraded with the plasma guns, which is an absolutely phenomenal thing to see. If you've ever got your Scouts surviving the early game and they're just lying around, rather than just sending them into their own deaths, you may as well give them the plasma guns and let them be the firing support they know that they can be. And now getting the decap on the critical location in the centre, as we are going around and just being a general pain in the backside.
1 minute until taking
1 minute to take an old victory. Don't quite get there in time to stop the decap. That's alright. I mean, victory via critical location countdown. I mean, no one really wants it. On a bitter battle to the end, if you catch me drift. Another solar pulse, but the Land Speed and Tempest kind of quite easily reposition themselves away from that. So might be considered a bit of a waste. But here come the Monolith, the Immortals from the Monolith, who do fantastic damage against any kind of vehicle. They are losing the plasma generators, which is not what you really want as a Necron Mister. Not a Necron Mr. Bister. Another critical location being decapped. Tiger Shark is kind of just chilling out over here at the moment. How did this destroyer do over here? Killed one thing, but I assume he's dead now.
Marine squad
but never assume, because it makes an ass out of you and me. It's pariahs. The spotted Saladom's forgotten Force Commander. How long can this one man hold? Not for very long. Gets cut down like a bad man. Sent back to Sin Bin. The battle bus continues. It's £3 return fare under Starmer's Britain. But we've got plenty of cash going. That's totally fine. Got the Chaplain, Force Commander, also got those Grey Knights coming in as well. Barreling their way towards any kind of Necron warriors. Got the AoE damage, I imagine, at some point from the Grey Knights. I don't know if I've summoned it yet, but we'll see. But sadly, the East Yorkshire bus has gone down. There's the magic, mystical shinies from the Grey Knights. And also the orbital bombardment as well, giving them the double barrel of the AoE. Haha, look at that. Warms the cankles of your heart. Even the Immortals spawning out of the Monolith. Get the bad stuff being sent towards them. You have the World Eaters also pushing down a wonderful sunset, reflecting off the water there. Absolutely gorgeous.
Yes, my lord.
I mean, even the World Eaters can appreciate a bit of sunshine. So all the Necrons are dead.
Awaiting orders.
Now all that's left is for us to smack down a Necron Monolith or two. For whatever reason, my boys aren't really feeling it. There we go, get involved. Go forth. Here are some flayed ones And else one of 3 triple squads, in fact, coming from the floor. And there's quite a lot of them. 7, 8, and 3. That's a number more than 10. Yeah, look at that. Quick maths for you. Not enough to necessarily beat us back, but enough to hold us down for the moment. Another beautiful John Cena beam to prevent us from seeing. And more things will be deep stricken. Is it friend or foe? There's a heavy destroyer from Ritvi as well. Replacement bus. Oh, there we go, Terminators. That's one good thing about late game Space Marines. You can keep that momentum going by constantly just deep striking fighting forces on the front lines. Over here, the Rogue Pariahs are on a journey on their own. Another Librarian and a Force Commander for the Solid Marines. The Pariah's not bad going up against individual models. Every strike they do does slow down their enemy somewhat, but now being bolstered by a couple more squad Space Marines, these Pariahs are going to have a bit of a bad time. But now a whole bunch of Necron Warriors now with their triple Disruptor upgrades, so even more range damage incoming. It's an absolute slobber knocker in the northernmost Necron base at the moment. We have quite tanky infantry, but the amount of Necrons on the field is just absolutely astounding. And not really much in the way of anti-vehicle stuff. Here's the Assault Terminators ready to bonk some Necron Warriors. And because Necron Warriors aren't all that fast, we might get extra bonks regardless of whether they hold their ground or push on forward. And then some deep striking Dreadnoughts coming in, but some more flayed ones as well. John Cena beam on the Terminator squad to prevent them from firing, but we will teleport them over. You can tell if a Terminator squad is teleporting when they get on one knee. It's like a football in the World Cup. It's how you begin a match, apparently. Although we won't go into that. More flame ones coming forth. The Necrons have fallen back a bit just to lick their wounds. Prize now back on over as well. Necrons from Tiger Shark have gone for primarily a vehicle front line just because of the lack of anti-vehicle stuff going on. So quadruple destroyers and heavy, well, 3 destroyers and 1 heavy destroyer. That's pushing them back just a little bit. So nice tactic from Tiger Shark. Also killing that heavy bottle turret, which I think was upgraded with a missile launcher. The Necrons don't have amazing vehicles, but when you're up against a force that don't have much AV, it's always very much welcome. Thankfully those Space Marines can adapt on the fly, so they will be going for a couple of missile launches as quickly as their reinforcement rate will let them. Over yonder we are just finishing off the last remaining parts of El Sueño's base, but I do believe he has built it. Yeah, he's got another Necron Monolith down here. And the benefit of a Necron player having to rebuild is that they don't have to rely on these listing posts. They can just rebuild using their plasma generators. So just because you're gonna reposition yourself doesn't mean you're out. Not for very long anyway. And if you lose all your build scouts, well, don't worry, your allies can help build up for you. So a defeated Necron is not defeated for very long, really. So we've got to keep up this pressure for as long and as quick as humanly possible. Space Marines over here really struggling, but some tactical Dreadnoughts coming in. No one ever expects the tactical Dreadnought coming in through the flanks. Focus on those immortals best we can. Give the old crack on the spine and throw them over the Space Marines. That's 2 points in rugby, I reckon. And they fall back, but look at the sheer amount of dead World Eaters from that assault. Absolutely phenomenal stuff. We're now moving down over here, but we are in the negative cover, which is less than ideal. But just ignore the cover when you could just circumvent their frontline defences. A fantastic little Grey Knight AoE damage over there. I assume that's from Saladome, so I'm not glazing myself there. Glazing my allies, so that's allowed. So all AoE damage, and then the Terminator squads coming on round as well. We do have a cheeky Necron Lord coming on over from Tiger Shark. Always going to be careful. As with that vision, the Necrons can deep strike a sizable amount of flayed ones inside your base if you are not careful. And my one singular dreadnought trying to give space for the Wild Eaters to regain their fighting formations, but not holding them back for very long. The destroyers are now back, but that is a sizable amount of missile launchers now available for them, but not a lot of Space Marines. The orbital bombardment there, and this narrow choke point. Oh, no man, he's cancelled it. And double dreadnoughts continuing that defensive line there as we continue to rustle our way through the base. Riffy having his base bashed by the assault terminators, and these guys do really serious damage against buildings as well, so definitely a fantastic addition if you want to smack through someone's base. Totally Riffy did not rebuild his base elsewhere. Look at this, elsewhere you already got a handful of plasma generators on the go here. The orbital bombardment in this narrow choke point also preventing Necron warriors from going any further forward, buying even more time for the Wild Eaters to remass their forces. And from the sky, in the late game when your economy is doing fine, you can just basically spam out dreadnoughts. Not the best walker in the game, but just enough to be a real pain in the backside. And also you can build up your Space Marine squads to full numbers and then deep strike them in as well. So no flank is safe from late game Space Marines. All those plasma guns as well. The Necrons only have heavy infantry, so it's quite difficult for them to deal with any kind of plasma gun nonsense, unless they go for maybe a handful of wraiths or flayed ones to keep the boys on the move. There we are, the last line of defense done in. Tiger Shark has got Morpheus going on elsewhere, carrying on the survival by building another base in his final allies' little section of the map. And here come a whole mishmash of boys from either side. We're going to respect Tiger Shark. He never gives up. He's always holding on for the last moment. What kind of army do you have going on for yourself at the moment? A respectable army and a respectable economy, all things considered. Spamming out the Necron warriors. Not sure what the rest of his fighting force is. He's got a Necron Lord over here. He's trying to do stuff, but we've got a friendly defensive dreadnought inside the base to keep his shenanigans back. Everyone's everywhere at the same time. Even the Wild Eaters are jumping in with their deep striking dreadnoughts. 3 monoliths in a line, like the pyramids of Giza. And it's just basically momentum. That is a Space Marines team game. If you've got like 1 or 2 of them, or in this case obviously you've got 3 Space Marine players, momentum is your friend. If you're able to keep on going forward and then constantly deep strike on the front lines to reinforce your bits and bobs with a solid economy, then you are laughing all day long. Problem with the Necrons, I mean, they had a really good early game aggression on the go for them. I think they would have really benefited more if they put all 3 of their Necron Lords in together and moving in tandem, but that requires a lot of team communication. It's quite hard to maintain. Look at this. I mean, Essence of the Nightbringer is doing his best. He's absorbing all the damage incoming. A volley of missile launcher fire. He's immortal though, he takes no damage, and the more damage he receives, the more healing the Necron Lord gets when he turns back into the regular Necron Lord. So that's fair. Yeah, another thing that the Necrons could have done to help reinforce each other is by building plasma generators inside each other's bases, and that way you can use your Necron ability to teleport onto your own buildings across the battlefield. That just allows you to basically mass up your troops in one area a lot more efficiently, negating the slow movement of the Necron warriors. There we go, that's dead. And look, long story short, Tiger Shark builds up another Necron monolith over here, and we slowly but surely find him and wipe him out. So there we go, that was the first faction war of the channel. We might have more. They don't, they're quite rare. You don't really see that many faction wars in Dawn of War, any kind of version of Dawn of War, regardless of vanilla or mods. But let's see if we can get some more going on. This game also happened in a community night that happens basically once a month at this point. I will have to see when my next schedule allows me to have another community night going on there. There we go. So thanks, boys, for playing this game with us. Thanks to PlaySports for sponsoring the channel. We'll have a look at all the bits and bobs below. There's a links description and always and all that stuff. And I'll see you in a bit. Peace.